What's up, guys? Skelly here, and got another pretty cool interview with you today. I just finished up talking with my good buddy Sam Henderson of Recording with Sam and ABG Studios in Crown Point, Indiana. I've been working with Sam for 2 years now. We've had somewhat of a relationship even before we started working together in the producer artist aspect of things. We sat down and chatted a bit about his sort of influences and then uh, moving into being a full-time producer and engineer. We talked a little bit about some of the best practices for newer artists when you're finding a studio or going to the studio for the first time. Sam really got into uh, what an artist needs to be prepared for and what they should be looking for when they're going to a studio. I think there's just a lot of good info, good stuff in there for everybody. If you're an artist or a producer or just interested in the music business in general, I think this is a pretty good interview for you to check out. So uh, here we go. Interview with Sam Henderson. We got Sam Henderson here from Recording with Sam in Crown Point, Indiana.
Yeah.
I'll just go ahead and let you introduce yourself and kind of tell everybody what you're all about.
Nice. Yeah. So I'm started my own Recording with Sam little producer name. So you can find that as behind me right there, Recording with Sam, if you can read it. But yeah, so I mean, I got started as a producer and engineer not too long ago, about 5-6 years ago, and came from a background of playing music and being a drummer, all that fun stuff. We toured and played shows around the country for about 2 to 3 years, and then kind of had to settle down and get into, I guess, the audio industry a little bit. Went to school for a couple years, and then tag teamed it up with my brother Seth over at Always Beginners Recording Studio. So yeah, so he's been doing fantastic stuff over there, just hits after hits, it seems like. So
yeah, a lot of good work from Seth.
Yeah, getting started over with him, I just kind of assisted along with what he had going on. So I was able to kind of like learn and pick up the little intricacies of what he's doing over there. So just basically had to learn, start from scratch, and nothing's better than actually being in the studio and actually seeing what's going on.
Absolutely.
So they seem to kind of teach about microphones and all this other stuff, and nothing really beats being there and seeing what's actually going on and taking place, and kind of like trying to absorb everything.
Yeah, so, right. Learn by doing.
So yeah, I mean, after like doing that for a couple of years and just kind of sitting in and having the band here, having the band there. So I started with bands basically, because that's kind of what Seth was doing, and that's kind of all that was coming through the studio. A few hip hop things here and there, but my background coming from like pop punk music, that's basically what I was going for and trying to record. Basically, that's obviously my influence. So I kind of figured that'd be a good place to just kind of get my feet wet and start there, even though there's a lot there, a lot of intricacies with all the guitars, bass, drums, vocals, everything. And then I eventually kind of switched over to the hip hop game, which has been pretty fun, not gonna lie. Been enjoying it.
It's like easier when you're kind of just worrying about vocals sometimes.
Yeah, kind of more vocal stuff. I mean, I would love to dabble in beats and all that stuff, but unfortunately, I'm no professional when it comes to beat making. I know that's a whole art form within itself. I feel like I would have had to start making beats, and at this point now, I'd probably be as good as I would want to be. It just takes that long, I feel like, to actually like get everything as far as like your collection of samples and like what you do. And
right.
Of course, you make 10 beats, there might be like 3 of them that you really like. So I mean, it takes time, but yeah, I mean, you and I have been at it for a few years now, a couple years now at least.
And 2 years, I think. Yeah. I was actually going back and looking, and I think it was like July of 2018 or like somewhere summer of 2018, like the first time I actually came in and did something, with you, and we laid something down, and then it's just been gangbusters ever since.
Yes, sir.
But okay, so what were some of your more musical influences growing up?
Well, coming from a music perspective, uh, I had the Travis Barker type influence. So that's the main
Almost
thing.
you were a drummer. Yeah.
Drums, yeah. So I always probably did a little too much in my music when I was, you look back on it now, 10 years later, and it's like, oh, I would have done this differently and this differently. But yeah, obviously that fast-paced drumming and fast-paced music, pop punk type stuff, rock music, and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge name guy, so I don't have like names off the top of my head. But like the bands would just be like Blink-182, Fall Out Boy, Panic at the Disco. The Academy is those types of bands that are just kind of mid 2000s or early 2000s, and
that's a pop punk lineup you got there, though.
Yeah, little Fall Out Boy and all that stuff. Oh yeah. So that was my just listen to that stuff all the time, and that just basically became like what I wanted to start recording was that type of music. But then, like I said, once we kind of like Seth and I both working at the same studio, him doing that type of music, and then also still getting requests for hip hop music and stuff all the time. He was kind of dabbling in it. I was kind of dabbling. It just got to a point where he was just kind of like, we need to either push all this stuff onto you, so we can have somebody that's focusing specifically on hip hop music and the hip hop engineer, whatever you want to call it. So for the past probably year and a half, 2 years now, it's been pretty strictly hip hop music. So it's been a shift over the past couple of years, going from the pop punk rock stage and stuff like that over to just kind of like hip hop. I mean, I listened to hip hop growing up, Jay-Z, Eminem, all that stuff back in the day. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to get into it and stay current, I guess, with what's out there. So it's always changing.
Yeah. So when did you finally kind of move from being like, all right, the band and drumming is kind of slowing down, and now like the engineering is the main?
Yeah, kind of picking up, right. That was probably 2012. Gosh, maybe it's been like 8 years. Jeez. But at least that's when like the band was like slowing down. And more than anyone, I've had physical back problems for so long. So there was a whole concern with that and drumming and physically not being able to do as much as I was wanting to do. So the transition was probably right around then, when I think I was still going to school part-time, because when I was talking to Seth about like, how should I kind of insert myself into the studio? How do we kind of blend all this? Because we got two guys look exactly the same, working at the same studio. And kind of freaking out clients as I walk in and just kind of see how I fit in.
For those who don't know, Seth and Sam are twin brothers, Yeah,
identical twins. So we haven't really played any jokes on clients yet, but I think that time is coming. That'd be fun. I think it was
I still have that little like nervous tick whenever I walk in, and I'm like, "Hey, Sam, I hope that's Seth."
Oh, I know.
But normally, at this point, I'm usually pretty good. Yeah,
there's so many clients that still accidentally call me Seth because they've worked with him in the past, and they just know both of us. So it's just inherently going to happen regardless, at some point. I think people feel bad, but I always try to make them feel at ease. Like, literally, it happens every single day.
I mean, yeah.
It has my whole life. So, not hurt my feelings.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are, like, pretty much legit carbon copies most of the time, unless somebody's wearing glasses or a hat.
Yeah, that's what I pretty much stuck with the hat for. That's like my telltale sign now. Is like, oh, that's Sam. He's got a hat on. Seth wears glasses too, so I had the glasses as well. That didn't really tell us apart, so I had to go with the hat and a little bit more lumberjack kind of facial hair. He's a little bit more kind of clean shaven. It makes it look a little bit cleaner. So
yeah, that's right. I like the more rugged look. That's okay.
Yeah, my man. Nice.
So, like you said, it's kind of rough sticking up with like current artists, but like currently right now, this doesn't have to be current artists, but right now, who are you listening to? Like what are you kind of digging right now? And it can be just anything.
Oh man. I actually listen to a lot of music that my daughter listens to because I'm a dad now. So a lot of my driving back and forth in the studio, listening to stuff in the car, kind of like jamming out, is honestly a lot of the music I'm working on. because that's like my time to actually sit there and like listen to it in different speakers than I am in the studio or at home or whatever. But yeah, I mean, she gets into, I don't even, like I said, I'm horrible with names and all these like different artists out there right now. I don't even know if I can give you a specific name, but all I do know is that I'm loving what you and I are working on.
Yeah.
I'm having just a huge connection with that style of music. So this like that little synth wave, like the beat style stuff, it just, kind of grabs me. So I mean, I haven't listened to a bunch of that type of music. Like I said, just going back to when I was a kid, it was always live drums, guitars and stuff like that, and pop punk music. So I still, when I sometimes just put on, some music, it's usually some of the stuff from, my nostalgic days back in high school and college and stuff.
I find myself.
Same thing. If I want to get happier, I'll go with some Under Oath, sometimes, and
nice.
do something like that. But old school Under Oath. Sometimes it got a little crazy, but
Yeah, it was once. Oh God, the original drummer. Once he kind of dipped off and started doing the almost and all that, it was I wasn't a big fan.
Yeah, Aaron. Yeah.
Aaron Gillespie. Yeah.
Yeah, his. I think their first album, They're Only Chasing Safety, was like one of my favorite albums of all time.
I really freaking dug. It was the one after Define the Great Line.
That was the only other one I think I can name. I was gonna say that one.
It's the one after that is really fucking good. I can't think of. God, I can't. They're not They're Only Chasing Safety. I don't know. I can't think of what it is, but it's a good jam.
So I actually got to mix a song. One of my clients had Aaron Gillespie feature on one of their songs that we recorded at the studio. So it was kind of cool to be able to actually like work with him and actually be able to me working on his vocals.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Because I've been listening to this guy and stuff my entire life and idolizing his vocal work because the guy's a freaking mastermind when it comes to like singing and drumming at the same time, which from my perspective as a drummer was just like insane.
Well, especially, and he was singing like the harmony hooks sometimes, like the chorus.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't just doing screams or nothing. Yeah.
His drum parts weren't like cake either. Those things were complex and like, they had some, it was just super complex. I mean, I don't know. It was just crazy to see somebody that was able to turn their head this way and just do everything that way and just
play a freaking blast beat.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we kind of dipped into it a little bit, but like, what are your new projects and songs and stuff you're working on? I guess besides stuff with me right now.
Yeah. I just finished up a mix this morning. It was like pretty unique because it was like a orchestral instrumental. So it was from usually like the beats and stuff that I'm working on. We live recorded all the violins, cello, and stuff like that. I actually went in hopped in on the drums. So I had to like go completely against everything I've done growing up. So it was just like all tom work and just kind of like big timpani drums. At least I had to mimic it with my drum set. So I didn't have like huge floor toms or anything like that to play with. I just kind of had to use my 16-inch ones that are meant for rock drums, but kind of make them sound like they're in a orchestral timpani and just kind of do something like that. But we've been working on that song for months and months. He's dealing with his own physical issues down in like Nashville and stuff like that. So we've just been kind of going back and forth. And when you get the one text that says like, "Oh, I'm tearing up, blah blah blah," I'm listening to it, and it's like, yes, we did it, But it's like all my clients are unique in their own ways. I got some that are more hip hop than rap. Got more that are just strictly rap. I had a guy named Dom Smith who just released his little mixtape last week. Those songs are pretty cool. I enjoyed working on those with him. He's been coming in for a couple of years, and he was finally happy with it. It was more about like him not liking what he wrote basically after he came in to record. So he would have a great idea in his head, would try to deliver it the best he could, and it just wouldn't always be 100% what he thought it would be by the end product. So I think it was more about finding what range, so like what key the song is in, finding the right beats to kind of like complement his vocals. And that can change between artists. Everyone has a certain key, I think, that they like to sing in and stuff like that. So I think he finally found it a little bit. So I'm glad we finally got a few songs to release and stuff like that. And, yeah, we'll be finalizing your stuff here in the next couple weeks. So, I mean, that's always exciting.
Oh, so like you said, you're working with a new guy coming in, and what what would you say to like a brand new artist? Let's say somebody 17, 18, maybe coming out of high school, you know,
I've been dealing with a few of those clients.
yeah, they're excited to record or whatever. What would you say would be some best practices before even getting into the studio?
Yeah, I would say don't expect to one take it. A lot of people want to come in, they think that they can finish it up in like an hour, like a whole song. And I'm talking, you know, verse, hook, and like maybe another verse. You're talking, that's a lot of stuff. A lot of people have it in their heads that they can just come in, knock it out real quick, and it's going to sound the way that they want it. But realistically, I prefer to spend 3 to 4 hours per song just on vocals. And that's minimum usually. Unless you come in and you have everything locked in, you know exactly what you're going to do. We can do it in probably 2. It's probably the least amount of time I would want to spend on a song. But I would definitely tell them to write it down. A lot of people want to come in and just freestyle. And sometimes that can be good, but I feel like you have to have some element in your brain that can actually deliver on that time after time. And especially if you do something really good and I'm like, yeah, do that one more time. And then they can't do it one more time. It's like, oh my gosh, it's so frustrating. So
I don't know what
they don't have the words written down, so they'll have to sit there and like type it up on their phones or something, and we'll spend more time just kind of sitting there when they could have written it out or something. But I guess everyone's got their different kind of like, I don't know, just like ways about going about their music. I have people that come in and they want to just sit there and actually pre-pro and demo stuff out. You know, some people want to come in and they already had it demoed out at their house. So I think everyone's different, and you kind of have to like work with people's budgets too. So, you know, what are you wanting to get out of this whole session? What are you wanting to get out of the song? Is it going to be a full album? Is it just going to be one song? So, I mean, mainly it's just like trying to make them happy, but at the same time, like making sure that their expectations are manageable, we can reach them, and that they're not too far out there, because, you know, I want to make sure that I'm delivering back to the client, you know, what they're expecting. And also just being honest with them, because a lot of people don't have any idea when they walk in what it actually takes to make a song. So, you know, having different layers underneath the main vocals and the backup vocals going on. And also, if you listen to a song, sometimes there's so many layers going on you don't even hear about. You know, you want to come in and you want to add all that in there. It takes time. So, I mean, it just depends. I mean, some people want to just do a quick diss track and they'll just, you know, come just kind of say whatever they want to say real quickly in an hour and get it done. There's no special effects or, you know, echo delays or any sort of reverse reverb tricks that I need to do as far as like production. Yeah, exactly. So I think a lot of it has to do also with their delivery. A lot of people come in and they're a little shy. So, you know, that happens to every single client I think I've worked with that's the first time in the studio. Just not having that confidence behind you, because when you're behind the mic, it picks up your confidence too. And you can honestly tell easily when somebody believes what they're saying, and somebody that doesn't. So, yeah. So I think those are the two main things. I think, you know, just writing your stuff down, try to prepare as best you can, and also just trying to work out those nerves. And I usually give people a few takes to kind of just like knock out the nerves. Let's just like get this rolling. You can just kind of feel what it sounds like in the headphones and all that stuff too. And then usually we can kind of smooth sail straight out from there and just kind of, you know, hopefully make a hit.
Yeah. So that's pretty good for getting, you know, prepared before you go in.
Yeah.
So now once you're in, you know, in studio, and this is more so, I'm going to say, studio etiquette, I guess we'll go with.
Sure.
What are your pet peeves, and what are your things that you like to see, I guess?
Well, pet peeves are this, I think, kind of goes with the younger crowd too. Maybe it's just maturity. I don't know.
Mhm.
Because there's people that can bring in extras, having like the entourage kind of roll with you in studio. I'm always cool with whatever makes any client feel comfortable.
Mhm.
Whether that's they want to drink to kind of loosen up a little bit, they want to smoke a little weed to kind of relax a little bit.
Hey, I like it.
Yeah, dude, right. They want to bring friends just to kind of hang out, drink some beer, whatever.
Mhm.
But a lot of like sometimes it can be super distracting. I think I had one client that would hit his vape pen like every 30 seconds in between every take, and he like couldn't focus on like I would do the talk back, talk to him, and then there'd be like 5 seconds of dead air, and then he'd be like, "What?" And I'm like, "Bro, come on, man, we got to get this going. Like, stay with me now. Come on, stay with me." But yeah, also having like friends around, they would just kind of shoot the shit and just kind of be messing around. But most of my clients have at least done somewhat recording before, some fashion of it.
Mhm.
But I'm trying to think. So, I mean, the only other thing that I can think of with that same exact client that I'm not going to name, but his friends came in and they were literally wrestling behind me in the studio, like talking trash to each other. And then all of a sudden they would like stand up and they would like start wrestling. Like, what the
Okay.
fuck are you doing? There's expensive gear all
Yeah,
around you.
especially like you're next to your fucking iMac running everything with $10,000 guitars and shit all around.
It's like 12 different guitar heads, like all like on shelves. There's guitars hanging up on the walls. They went into the actual live room at one point and started like playing on the drums and stuff while we were recording vocals. So it's just more distracting, random stuff. You're like, what are you doing? Come in here and sit down.
Mhm.
And I kind of like raised my voice to them, and it was like kids that got yelled at by their dad, and they sat there silently for like a couple minutes, and then they started loosening up again, and then I had to tell them to shut up again. But it was just kind of like,
Yeah.
We're there to be productive. We're not there just to kind of party and have fun. As much as we can do this.
Especially if you're not
do
even
that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we can definitely party and have fun too. I'm never gonna shy away from a beer or whatever and hang out with my clients and stuff. But I'm always worried about and making sure, because we pay by they pay by the hour. We charge by the hour,
Mm-hmm.
and I try to be as productive as I can during that time. So
Absolutely.
um,
Whew. I really didn't have anything else like written down, but I just wanted to talk kind of about like
our project,
our relation, like having a good relationship with your engineer and kind of knowing the person you're working with, as opposed to just
for sure
going in, going in blind and trying to get. I think you kind of hit the nail on the head, almost having too high expectations for what one session will get you done.
Sure, right.
And
there's a lot that goes into it for sure. I mean, for sure, best out of a lot of my clients when we come in and just certain tweaks on certain levels, just coming in. Sometimes we might just sit there and mix for a few hours. I mean, sometimes we'll go through and redo an entire verse. Sometimes we'll kind of, but yeah, I mean, no, but it's been great to kind of get to know you and your music and see it evolve kind of like over the last couple of years. I don't know when you'll switch it back up on me again. That's always a kind of a risk on my end, kind of like what's he coming with today.
all right,
never really quite sure.
Metal.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, we had that kind of, I don't even know what kind of rap genre you would consider it, but it was, unique to Skelly Bones, at least.
Yeah.
From my perspective.
Yeah.
Always throwing in those drops of like random audio clips, when Macho Man Randy Savage at one point, and then we had I think there was a Clueless drop in there at one point.
Yeah, that's unreleased. That's what I was thinking. I got a couple of unreleased tracks that I might have to throw in.
That was unreleased. Okay. But yeah, I mean, as far as like you and I are concerned, I mean, I think the relationship aspect is huge because so many people, I think, will walk into a studio, they'll just kind of maybe, I don't know if it's expecting the engineer to like know what they want or anything like that, but it's something I kind of have to like dig out of clients sometimes. It's kind of like, what are you looking at, to get out of the session? But then also like being able to work with them over the course of months, maybe years. You and I have been at it for years, and just growing that relationship. I think you can build off of kind of like what you're expecting from them, what they're expecting from you. And I think it's a really good relationship to kind of build up because, I've worked with multiple people that have either worked with me for a long time, thought, and actually like went out and went to a different producer, and they came back and they're like, holy shit, I should have never left. I don't know what I was thinking. And, it makes you feel good too, but at the same time, like everyone's different. So they just might not be used to that dude's type of production or whatever.
Style.
So, yeah. So, I mean, everyone's got their own different vibe, and you gotta just find what you like. And when you like that, just keep going. You know what I mean? And if something comes along that you think you want to try it out, I'm always up for just letting the clients do whatever. It's not gonna hurt my feelings. If somebody's going to work with someone else, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not the bee's knees as much as I think I am, but there's people out there that can do what I do, and if you want to try it out, sure. But there's only one me. Well, actually, there's two, because there's
technically, yeah, genetically,
right? There's two of us.
No, but yeah, from my perspective at least, yeah, I think we have a really good relationship in studio, and I think that the time that we've spent, in the studio together and like kind of just figuring out each other's, different little, weirdnesses and stuff like that. And like, it's almost like I know I can go in and tell you, I want to do this vocal line or this verse this type of way, and this is the kind of vibe I'm going for. And I know you'll know almost exactly what I'm talking about. Like,
yeah, for
sure.
It comes with time, right?
Yeah, you get onto that same wavelength. Like, yeah, it does. It takes, like I said, it could take years. I feel like we kind of click pretty quick, but
yeah, for sure.
As you, as we continue to work together, it just gets. I feel like everything we do gets better and better the more we work together.
I know. I can't wait for people to hear what you got going on, man. I mean, super pumped to just like be a part of it. The first time we did that little switch up to the synthwave type songs and whatever you got going on. I mean, the first track set a new bar for us, I think, right away. So I'm super excited for people to kind of check that out and see what you got going on, because I know I'm excited for people to hear it and listen to it, and I'm going to push that shit all over my page. You know that. So
I definitely appreciate that.
I do.
And I mean, just thanks a lot for sitting down and chatting with me. And if you have any, like your Instagram, any social media accounts or whatever, you want to plug them or talk about?
Yeah, everything is at Recording with Sam. I'm pretty sure Instagram is at Recording with Sam. Facebook, there's Recording with Sam on there. Twitter and Snapchat and all that stuff, it's all Recording with Sam. So should be pretty easy. recordingwithsam@gmail.com. Yes, I mean, and recordingwithsam.com. So I mean, literally kind of tagged all that stuff so that there's really no confusion,
That's we like to keep it nice and simple.
Yes, exactly. So I mean, that was the goal. But yeah, I mean, everyone could go on there and check out my stuff and see what I've been doing and see what you and I've even done in the past, and kind of get caught up on life of Recording with Sam. But yeah, dude.
So again, thanks a lot for sitting down and chatting with me, and
I'll see you in studio soon.
Yes, absolutely. Hopefully, once quarantine is over, we'll be able to get some music made again.
This is nuts. Hopefully, everyone over on your end is happy and healthy and staying clear from this crazy world out there right now.
Yeah, you too, man. Same for you.
Yeah, thanks, bud.
All right, thanks a lot, and I'll talk to you later, man.
All right, dude. See ya.
Peace.